So I received a visual download last week, and I know that this message is not just for me. That it's probably going to resonate with a lot of the collective, and I'm going to try to figure out how to share that with you, so bear with me. So I was in the passenger seat of my car, and we were driving home from running some errands, and it was probably around like 8 or 9 o'clock in the evening, but the sky was super dark, like just pitch black, and you had to really look closely to see the clouds to see the stars at first. And the weird thing was, all over the sky there was these like big fluffy clouds, but not like they would normally be in a night sky. Like they were like the fluffy cloud that didn't connect to any other cloud, and just it was all over the sky. And the weird thing is, all of the clouds were exactly the same shape, and at first when you would look at them, you know, when you look at clouds and you try to figure out if they could make a shape or something like that, at first you could see a word, right? I couldn't exactly make out the word at first. It kind of looked like it would be my name. It was like 4 letters, but I couldn't figure out exactly what the letters were. But then, if you looked at the cloud a little bit longer, it actually made the shape of a horse, right? And so I'm looking at the sky, and I'm just like really looking at it because it just looks so amazing. And the stars start getting brighter and brighter and brighter, but it's not just what you would see in one dimension, right? At first you would see the one dimension with the word, and then as you look a little closer, you start to see more dimensions, as if you were looking at a 5D TV screen, and you could like stick your hand through the TV, and your hand would be through all these different layers. So basically, you're like sitting in the middle of a dome projector or something like that, I guess. And I'm not going to have enough time in this video, so go to part 2. So after you see the layer of the first dimension, which is the word that's like flat, and you look at the sky a little bit longer, you realize the cloud now looks like a horse. But it gets even better than that. This horse is not just in a one dimension, but it's going through the other layers or the other dimensions of the sky. And the stars, that's how you could tell it's like a dimension kind of thing, is like there's stars in between all these layers, and they're like small ones and big ones and small ones and big ones. And it just looks like the most beautiful thing you've ever seen. Like almost like you go to like some kind of museum and you sit in the dome, and then like you see like the projector of like all the planets and stuff like that. It's kind of like what it felt like. So we get up into town, and we decide we're going to stop and get some food. And while we're ordering, the cloud shape gets kind of bigger, and I literally say, that looks like evil Mickey Mouse, and it was like a side profile of Mickey Mouse, right? Anyway, I just thought, okay, this is cool, and I didn't really think too much else of it, but like I wrote it down, and over the next couple days I just sat and thought about it. I didn't even start looking anything up on the internet or anything like that, which I would normally do right away. I just kind of wanted to sit with it and just see what came of it. I think it was like the next day I seen a TikTok video talking about the the Hindu god Ganesh, who is a child, like a baby. So it's the body of a child and the head of an elephant, which kind of looks more like a rat, right? And he is worshipped along with his parents, Siva, and I don't know the dad's name, but basically they are supposed to represent the unconscious, the conscious, and the inner child, which makes the complete person, right? Which is interesting because a lot of us in the collective are still diving deep into the shadow work because it's a lot to integrate all of us from all the trauma that we've all experienced throughout our lifetime and other lifetimes. So we as a collective have been diving deep into our shadow work. And you all know how dark that can get. How sometimes it just gets to be so deep and so, that's why they literally call it the dark night of the soul. That it can be a lot on a person, right? And there's a lot of layers that go with your shadow self because there's a lot of things that we've repressed from ourselves, right? There's a lot of things that have been distorted in our minds that we are now unraveling and actually understanding what was going on in certain situations and uncovering the things that we have kept hidden from ourselves in our unconscious mind, right? And a lot of the times we have to actually go into all these different layers or dimensions or different, like timelines or whatnot to bring back the fragments of our soul that we have separated through disassociation of the distortions and the illusions that we all have encountered as children. So as we're learning to dive into the shadow work and reparent ourselves and bring to the conscious what we have kept unconscious for so long, Spirit was saying through the horse that your hard work is about to pay off. You soon will be integrating your shadow self, your inner child, with your conscious and unconscious mind. You're going to bring all the parts of you together, and that's going to bring you the most happiest timeline that you could ever imagine. It's going to bring your wealth and your freedom, and you're going to be whole and beautiful and perfect. Not that you're not already perfect, but you're going to feel it. So I saw the first dimension of the sky and the word time. And the sky in itself being so dark and just almost scary dark, like a void, right? When you first looked at it and seen the word time in the cloud. But when you look a little bit longer, when you go a little deeper, the void might get deeper, but it also gets more beautiful because the stars get brighter and the time becomes a stallion who is jumping through the different dimensions of your own shadow self, your inner child, to piece all those soul fragments back together to make you one big, beautiful, bright soul. Baby Ganesh was at the end of that vision, showing us that even though our road has been dark and gloomy and, quite frankly, probably painful, bringing back up all the trauma that we have experienced in our lifetime, but Spirit is about to reward you guys because of your hard work. Because you've decided to look at all the dark parts of yourself that, yeah, might have happened due to what other people put you through and that trauma. But just because they put you through that trauma doesn't mean that that trauma didn't cause you to then in turn hurt other people without even a lot of times consciously knowing it. Because we just pass that trauma on to other people because we don't know how to not pass it on until we dig in deep. So you might not be completely there yet, but don't give up because you're about to be beautiful and the happiest that you've ever been once you can become the truest, brightest person that yourself has to share with you.